Ah, Jaguar. It's all gone horribly wrong. I don't think there's anybody out there who isn't aware to one degree or another of Jaguar motor cars, the Jaguar brand and everything that goes with it, the symbolism, the automotive excellence, the lines, the curves, the beauty, the power, all the things that Jaguar was and signified for predominantly men. Style, grace, poise, strength, machismo. It was James Bond, essentially, in a car. Going for nearly 100 years. I think they started off actually making sidecars, motorbikes with the side. Do you remember the George and Mildred thing? Anyway, the Jaguar brand became iconic. Absolutely iconic worldwide. I remember as a young boy, somebody telling me, an adult telling me, oh, Jaguars. With a Jaguar, all you can hear is the sound of the tyres meeting the road. And I thought, wow, look, that's the type of thing young boys want to hear. Of course, he was slightly over-egging the pudding there. But still, to young boys, you want to have those. You want to have those things. Now, I was lucky. I've been lucky in my life to have owned and driven various models of Jaguar cars, some better than others, but there was still just something about them. Just something there. A pedigree, an absolute pedigree. You just felt a certain thing when you were sitting behind the wheel of a Jaguar, that cat in the middle of the steering wheel, that bouncing cat on the bonnet. Wow, great, amazing stuff. Anyway, Jaguar went through some bad times, like a lot of car brands. They did. The car industry has totally shaken up. It's gone through all kinds of doldrums, certainly since the 70s. And the British car industry, which was once a cornerstone of the world car industry, well, it went through all kinds of nightmares in the 70s for all kinds of reasons. A lot of industrial strife, a lot of strikes, poor build quality. There was all kinds of issues. And then there was amalgamations trying to keep the thing together. And you had British Leyland, which was an absolute catastrophe. Anyway, Jaguar managed, by one means or another, to come through that phase intact, and they kept going and they kept producing cars, and it was always a struggle, no doubt. And of course, the car industry changed and changed and changed again. They went through various different ownerships, they tried different things, and it was just becoming tougher and tougher and tougher. Of course, the whole car industry now is completely turned on its head from what I remember the car industry was growing up and in my formative years. We now have the arrival of electric vehicles, with Teslas in the mix there. Of course, China is now doing huge things with their industrial base, and car production is a major part of that. They are producing on numbers of cars that are quite frightening in world terms, at a price that's also quite frightening, especially for people like Jaguar. Anyway, cut a long story short, Jaguar decided they had to do something radical, had to shake things up. So they had a guy in there, Jerry McGovern. Jerry McGovern was a sort of a wunderkind who had been around various different auto manufacturers over the years. He had a long career in the auto business. He had been brought into design. He was a design guy. He was a marketing guy. He was a guy you brought in and they kind of revitalised things. He was tasked with, sorting out this decline of Jaguar. And he came up with, well, let's just say it was a bold strategy. Very bold. Out of the gates, suddenly one day, this new advert for Jaguar motor cars appeared. Behold. Yes. Oh, yeah. A bold move there, Jerry. Jerry, if I may call you Jerry, a bold move there. When I saw that first, and I did cover it at the time, you check that video out there, the first thing that came into my head was, young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man. And very quickly after that,
welcome to the club, buddy.
I said it at the time. I did say it at the time. I'm not sure this advert is going to connect in any real way with Jaguar customers, clients, drivers, fans. I think you're not hitting the right notes there, Jerry. And indeed, yes, yes, it was a Bud Light moment, a Gillette moment. And I said, this is going to all end in tears. They were trying, as most of these woke companies, these DEI fans and fanatics, they were all trying to just pretend that reality wasn't real, that you could just imagine something, no matter how crazy it was, and with enough advertising and pushing on the media, you could make that crazy idea real. But that's not how life works. Now, I'm not sure how that pitch meeting went in the boardrooms, in the top floor boardroom of Jaguar. At the time went something like, listen, here, it's going to be great. We're going to reposition the company. The lift's going to open, a bright yellow lift's going to open, and out will pour this multi-ethnic, multicultural, multicoloured bunch of homosexuals. And it's going to be great. They might not all be homosexuals, but they'll certainly look like they are. And then after that, we're going to have an ad. It's going to be very vivid, a lot of colours going on, people doing strange things. There'll be no cars in it, of course. The nearest thing we'll have in the ad to a car is this big rock. Now, I'm not sure if that's how the pitch meeting went when Jerry was kind of throwing it out there to the grandees. But if that's how it went, then what should have happened immediately at that point was that one of the senior people there, if not the most senior person there, should have just gently stood up in a very genteel but authoritative way, put his hand around Jerry's shoulder and said, Jerry, let me stop you there. But that didn't happen. And because this was the time of DEI and wokeness gone mad on steroids. And they thought, wow, that's so stunning and brave. How could it possibly fail? Well, time has passed, as time tends to do. And the question you're all asking is, well, how did Jerry, the wunderkind of marketing in the modern age, how did his absolute Leonardo da Vinci level marketing campaign go for Jaguar cars? Did he reinvent the wheel? Did he reinvent Jaguar? Was he the saviour of the day? Is he the hero of the hour? Well, it went a bit like this.
Welcome to the club, buddy.
And it seems the people at the top of Jaguar were so absolutely in awe and impressed at his endeavours and achievements that they fired him and had him escorted out of the building by security. So yes, that campaign went just about as well as you and I could have predicted. Now, on a side note, I myself, being a lover of the brand and a one-time driver, many times driver of the brand, I wanted to chip in and do my little bit to try and keep the thing alive, keep the brand going. And I submitted my idea for a marketing campaign, a marketing strategy that I thought might resonate with the customer base. Now, I may be many things, but a marketing guru, I freely admit I am not. But still, I wanted to give something back to the brand that I and possibly you love dearly. I came up with this strategy here. I think you'll agree. What lines, what curves. And the car's not bad too. But still, you know, this is Jaguar. This is Jaguar. This is Jaguar. Wish I could afford something like that. The car. Get those smutty thoughts out of your head. This is it. I will not have smut on this channel. Stop that immediately. This is a family-friendly channel. I will not have smut. We do not do smut here. But alas, I got no response, no reply. It seems the denizens, the grandees at Jaguar, decided my ideas for a marketing campaign. We're all old hat, we're old fashioned. Nobody wants that anymore. That's all dead and buried, sexist, misogynist, and it should be all done away with and not before time. They instead, it seems, went for Jerry's masterstroke reinvention of Jaguar as yes, you can, young man, and please buy a Jaguar motor car. It's all gone horribly wrong. Who could have ever thunk it? Well, someone who didn't thunk it was Jerry here, the marketing wunderkind, who was given the bum's rush and escorted from the building. Can I say? No. Bit too much? All right, clip that bit out. Jerry here, who was fired unceremoniously and escorted from the building. Not a good end to a glittering career. I've said it many times, sometimes old knowledge is the real knowledge. Stick to what you know, stick to what you do, try and do it as well as you can. Sometimes you're going to have to hunker down, knuckle down, and do your thing in a quiet way, in a smaller way, and maybe you can re-emerge as times change, because everything is cyclical. Jaguar could have downsized, they could have become niche, they could have retained their honour and their pride, which I wish they had done. They could have retained their reputation for absolute elegance and excellence, but they didn't. They decided, listen, why don't we just become the village people of car makers? That's bound to work. Where were they going to sell them? Greenwich Village? Soho? The Pigalle in Paris? It's all coming back, guys. Knowledge and ways and things that have been passed down through generations upon generations upon generations. They knew stuff. They're all trying to pretend these days they were all backwards, dark ages, they didn't know anything. No, they knew plenty. And we've forgotten it all because the universities have reinvented everything, written on the back of a stamp yesterday by some screwball professor. Well, I'm with the old school Jaguar, and I still think my campaign rocked.